I do think this receiver class is a little bit underrated. Not really because people are talking like it's bad, but I think we've been so spoiled at the receiver position in recent years where people are expecting every year there has to be a Jamar Chase and then the next best guy has to be this other elite receiver. It's not like that. I definitely think it's lacking in terms of depth. But if we're looking at top end talent, I think there's some guys here. Like, I'll be honest, looking at my list, I have 4 guys that I think are very much worth like a top 30 pick. Very,
Yeah.
very much worth. And
I don't think that there is a Jamar Chase.
no,
I don't think
no.
that there's a really top end elite Marvin Harrison, top end elite receiver. I think that
Oh,
there is a clump of receivers that you could feel really good taking about in the first 40 to 45
yep.
picks. And
Yeah.
that's where I think the strength of is this draft. Now, after
Mhm.
those 45 picks, do we
I
fall off a
think
cliff a
it's
little bit?
not deep. It
Yeah,
it definitely lacks in terms
that's
of the
why I didn't
depth
say deep.
that
I
we've seen.
said, I guess, top heavy is, I guess, the right word to
It's
use
top
there.
heavy, but not like top heavy, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
It's
top heavy in the
very
sense of
15 to 30 is like 15 to 45. Those 30 picks,
yeah.
we're gonna
Yep.
see a lot of receivers go, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it
But
it kind of sucks because there isn't like that top guy.
yeah,
We might see a team take a more underwhelming receiver at 7
yeah.
or something like that. That's very much possible here. But I will say there is in my top 7. There's 2 guys that I can see them lighting the league on fire. But my number 1 isn't one of those guys. I do think he'll be very good, but I think that there's 2 guys in this class that could potentially like be a Jamar Chase, right? Potentially really be like best receiver in football. And while I really like my number 1, I wouldn't say he has that type of ceiling. My number 1 is Makai Lemon. And it's weird because I kind of started by knocking him, but I'm telling you, this guy's more than capable of being a spectacular receiver. His route running prowess really is the big thing. And for me, I'm big on route running. I think that's so important. We've seen guys like Michael Thomas in 2019 light the league on fire as a route runner. We saw Cooper Kupp do the same thing in 2021. Being a great route runner, it makes such a big difference. And Makai Lemon, mainly out of the slot, and that's part of the reason I don't think he could be a Jamar Chase. But oh man, can he beat you from the slot? What he does all over as a route runner, his ability to sell routes, redirect quick. And not only is he quick, he has some speed to him, man. He really does. Like he has great technique, but he has nuance as a route runner. I think that's the big thing. I think this is a guy that we could see take such a large load as a player here, gets such a large workload. I really think he's someone that you could give 120 targets, 150 targets even as a player, and he'll reward you consistently on that. He's just so explosive as a route runner when he needs to be, but he also knows when to tempo it and slow it down a little bit. And then he gets the ball and he's being speedy and outrunning everyone and creating explosives in that light. I'm a big Makai Lemon guy. I really do love what he does. Now, he is only 5'11. He's short. That lowers the ceiling, and that's why I'm saying he can't be a Jamar Chase. But oh man, you want someone that could just win you games from the slot and be a consistently reliable piece that can make some of those game breaking plays when he has the ball in his hands. I mean, it's hard to find someone much better than Makai Lemon. Again, limited to the slot, but what he does as a route runner, like that'll give defensive coordinators nightmares. I'm again, Makai Lemon doesn't have the highest ceiling in the class, but again, like route running's the name of the game as a modern receiver, and I think that's his big advantage.
So I'll start by saying you're correct because I had Makai Lemon as number one as well. I debated between him and Carnell Tate, and I think recently I've given the edge slightly to Makai Lemon. One of the other things that you didn't mention that I noticed a lot, he is fearless down the middle. Like it doesn't matter.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he is not timid at all. He wants all the smoke. It does not matter. To your slot comment, I will point, and he's not similar stylistically. Well, sort of, but That's what they said about Jackson Smith and Jigba coming out of the draft, which I never thought was a fair criticism. They said, "Oh, he's because that's all he did at Ohio State was playing the slot." And then Shane Waldron, threw him bubble screens from the slot, and they were like, "Oh, he's a slot guy. He's a slot guy." And it's not that he can only play the slot. It's that his coaches only put him in the slot. I would imagine, and I know he's a bit smaller, 5'11", he's not the biggest thing in the world. But I do think this is a guy that can go outside and be a dynamic route runner from any part in the field, right? We saw that with Jackson Smith and Jigba this past season. He led the league in not only yards in total, but in yards from the exterior, right? So I do think that he's not limited to being a slot-only guy. I love his toughness. I love his route running. The size, like you said. Speed is pretty sneaky in my opinion. He's not
He's
Tyreek
not a
Hill.
burner. Not a burner.
Tyreek Hill, but he quick. He can
I
get
think
going.
he's quick, and his ability to speed up out of breaks.
Yeah.
I think that's something you see it as a route runner,
Yeah.
but more importantly, you see it after the catch.
Yeah,
right?
the acceleration
the
and the deceleration in and out of routes is really good.
Yeah, exactly. And when he gets the ball, he'll work a move on a defender. He'll juke a guy, and he'll do it damn well. I mean, again, I do think he's more exclusive to the slot. JSN, I think, is more of the enigma.
He's the Njigba, you mean?
Yeah, he's the Njigba, right? But in all seriousness,
please don't subscribe. I'm sorry.
In all seriousness, though, I do think just because of the frame, and he's not someone I really trust to beat press. And I also think when you have a guy that runs routes like that, you want him to be able to threaten corners both outside and inside. You can't do that as much when you're an outside receiver. Now, if you put him there every once in a while, sure. But I think you mainly want this guy in the slot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So we're in agreement that Makai Lemon's the best receiver in this draft, at least number one right now. Who is your number two receiver in the draft? Because you said Makai Lemon's number one, but he doesn't have the highest ceiling. Is this number two guy on your list the guy with the highest ceiling?
I wouldn't say the highest. But could I see him being maybe the best receiver in football? Yes. I do think there's someone else with a higher ceiling, but his floor is a hell of a lot lower. So there's someone else later in this list that I really think has that elite ceiling. Jordan Tyson is my wide receiver too. If not for the injury history, wide receiver one. Undoubtedly, wide receiver one. Because what did I say defines you as a receiver in the modern league? Route running. You need to know how to run routes. You need to be a good route runner. And Makai Lemon's a very good route runner. Jordan Tyson's an even better one. Jordan Tyson, not only is he taller, he's 6'2", but man, you have no idea what this guy's doing. You see a lot of guys, even if they're good route runners, they'll telegraph it a little bit. They're kind of show their movement a little bit early, and an elite corner is going to pick up on it. Jordan Tyson, there's no tell. When we talk about making everything look the same until it's different, there's not many receivers I've seen coming out of college that do it quite like Jordan Tyson. And he's another guy who just knows how to tempo the routes while also having sudden breaks. Can go 0 to 100
I think the reason for that is? Like what? Like what he does specifically, where you're talking about, like, doesn't telegraph the routes, doesn't give the DBs that extra half second to recognize what they're doing. Fluid hips. Like, people think I'm joking. Like, DBs are trained, especially in the higher levels of football, collegiate, pro. Watch the guy's hips. His hips will telegraph where he's going. Because if you think about it, you move, and you guys can't see me because I'm cut off at the waist, but, like, you move your hips before your torso turns, before your legs turn, before your feet move. So the hips are the number one indicator normally of what direction you're going. So when you watch a guy's hips and his hips are staying square and he's only doing it at the last possible second to get to his route, well, that puts you at a disadvantage because you're not able to jump a route, guess a route, whatever. His fluidity in his hips are, I think, in my opinion, what make him such a good route runner. So I wanted to agree with what you said, but also provide, I think, additional context just based on what I've noticed.
Yeah,
he's got hips like Shakira. They don't lie. That's really what I want to say.
Well, that's the thing, though. They do lie. That's why he's such a good route runner. They lie all the time.
He's not lying. Yeah, I guess you're right. They do lie. Yeah, maybe that is. They do lie a little bit, which is good.
Yeah, it's great. Like, it really is. His route running is a work of art a lot of the time. And he runs every route in the book. Like
Yes.
Makai Lemon, as much as I like him as a route runner, he doesn't run every route. He doesn't. And this is another guy. Put him in the slot, watch him work outside and inside. Oh my God, he's going to carve you up. But if you want to keep him as an outside guy, well, he's 6'2". He has the frame. Someone presses him. He has such a good release package. It's very difficult to press him.
I saw a comparison to him the other day, and they said Zay
Mhm.
Flowers, and I was kind of scratching my head like,
That's crazy to me.
I'm like, we're thinking Zay Flowers is like 5'9". Like, what are we
I
talking
think you
about?
get some of the similar route running prowess. I do
Yeah,
think
but
like Flowers was another guy where he's a damn good route runner, man.
Flowers is
But I
quicker
also think
though,
Tyson,
and much
yes,
smaller.
and
Like,
Tyson has a bigger route tree.
right.
You know,
So,
I think Tyson runs more of these.
like for Makai Lemon, I saw Amon St. Brown, and I'm kind of like, okay, that checks out.
Yeah,
Same size,
I
same
also think
school.
it's helmet scouting a little bit on that, but
Yeah. That
sure,
was the
yeah.
same size, same school. I
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah.
But Zay Flowers for Jordan Tyson, I didn't quite understand.
Mhm.
Let's move on to your number
Well,
3.
well,
So,
let me just hold on. I need to make it
okay,
clear
my fault. I didn't realize the
because
scouting.
if you just look at what I've said about Jordan Tyson, compare it to what I've said about Makai Lemon, why the hell is Makai Lemon ahead of Jordan Tyson? Because in all honesty, in terms of just their film in a vacuum, Jordan Tyson is the better receiver, and I don't think it's overly close. That's not a knock on Makai Lemon. That's just Jordan Tyson, man, his film's electric. Because he could also adjust to the ball and do all that crazy stuff. But the injury history is very concerning. Very concerning. I also think the speed is even worse with Tyson than it is with Makai Lemon. Like the speed, I would say Makai Lemon is underwhelming as an athlete. I think with Jordan Tyson, the speed is a little bit below average, right? Like that's
Yeah.
where I stand. But
Okay.
along with the speed's only going to be worse because he's coming off a major injury, and it's just the injury history is so concerning. He gets hurt all the time, and the best ability is availability. Now, if he
Okay.
could stay healthy, this guy could be the type of receiver you want to take in the top 5. I do stand by that because he
Interesting.
can track the ball in the air and he could run routes, separate, and he's a really high IQ player. But if you can't stay on the field, I don't really care that much.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I do red flag the injuries as well, which so I agree with you there. Who would be on your list on the Patrick power ranking? No, I'll workshop that. Well, you're talking. I'll workshop that. Who is
Well,
number 3 on the wide receiver rankings for you, Patrick?
there's always one, right? There's always one thing about my list that's unconventional, right? This year, everyone's been saying the big three, the big three, the big three at the receiver position. And let me say, so far I've said 2 out of the 3. So surely I'm going to say Carnell Tate right here. Let me clarify. I like Carnell Tate. I think Carnell Tate's awesome. Carnell Tate is not my wide receiver 3. And that's not, again, that's not a knock on Tate. I just think Omar Cooper's awesome. Like, he really is. Another guy, I just love him as a route runner. I think that's the big thing. Like, he has the good release package, but man, at the top of his route, he's twitchy. He's twitchy. And it's like you blink when he's at the top of his post route. You think he's running a corner, and then he's all of a sudden running a post. And it's like, what the hell? Like he really is able to manipulate guys at the top of his routes very consistently, and he's effortless with it. Like his route running is really effortless. And if you're looking for just a highlight tape as a route runner, Omar Cooper, I mean, you have a lot of guys falling on the floor trying to follow Omar Cooper in man-to-man coverage. It happens very often. But then, you get the ball up, and he can make the catches outside his frame, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has that body control you like to see. And his hands, very, very reliable. And then he gets the ball, and it's hard to bring the guy down. I mean, he has some contact balance to him, right? He really does. And what we talked about, his twitchiness at the top of his route, it carries over when he has the ball in his hands. I really do like Omar Cooper a lot. But for the third time, I'm going to say speed is a little bit lackluster here.
Yeah.
And I also think for someone who can make these catches outside of his frame and do some of the stuff he does with the ball in the air, he needs to play towards the ball a little bit more. I mean, you throw a 50-50 ball his way, he could be a little bit passive sometimes. And I don't really love that. I really don't. And I think that's some of the stuff that kind of limits into the slot. Once again, I think this guy might be a little bit more slot limited. The size isn't great. Not at all, really. And again, I think when you're outside, you need to play towards the football a little bit more. And I don't think Omar Cooper does. But, when you're getting as wide open as he's able to get.
Yeah, but that catch against Penn State, though. Come on now.
Yeah,
One,
you're right. You're
one
right.
of the most.
He
That's
has,
actually one of the most
he
ridiculous
has
catches I've
some
ever seen in
great
my life.
grabs.
Yeah, no.
He
I'm
has some great
admittedly not super high on Omar Cooper.
Mhm.
I don't know if when you combine his athleticism and his size, I don't know that it's a guy that I really feel comfortable taking in the first round. I know
Yeah.
you feel stronger about him, but
Mhm. No, I
I
think
gotta.
it's fair. He's lacking the athletic profile that
Yeah,
you want to see
yeah,
some of
he's
the time.
lacking the
I think
traits
it's
that make
true.
him a good receiver. Otherwise, he's pretty good.
No, he's lacking the traits that would make him Jamar Chase. And this kind of goes back to what I'm saying. Like, with this class, there's not a lot of those insanely high ceiling guys. There really isn't.
I want to talk about a guy that I do think has the highest ceiling though, and a guy that you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, Carnell Tate.
You think he has the
I'm
highest ceiling here?
I'm really high on Carnell Tate. I
Mm.
think we
I like
are.
him. I wouldn't say
I
that.
think
But
that we are
okay.
playing the overshadow game a little bit because Jeremiah Smith is the guy that's getting all the love, getting all the hype. Oh my God, Jeremiah Smith! Can I take him 3 drafts before he's a draftable player? Can I trade away? Can I give you a draft pick in 2030 to take him? I, I think that there's some of that. I like Carnell Tate a lot. Good size, good speed, very explosive receiver. Part of that is playing at Ohio State, I understand, but 6 touchdown grabs last year of 30 or more yards.
Mhm.
Again, the comparison that's thrown around is T. Higgins. I don't know that I agree with the T. Higgins comparison. T. Higgins he's a better contested catch guy in my opinion. But Carnell Tate's
Oh,
explosive.
wow.
He's
We
got
have
some of the
we have
athletic traits that you want.
disagreement here
He's
in
not
terms of how we
he's
evaluate
not
this guy.
the fastest guy. Because he ran what was it like 4.5 something at the combine, and everyone was like all but arms. But I really like Carnell Tate. I think that he has the ability to be the best receiver in this draft, and I'm curious why he's at least number 4 on your list.
He is number 4. And let me say, if Washington decided they needed a wide receiver and they took him at 7, it wouldn't be a mistake. Like, this is not a David Bailey situation where it's like, oh, yeah, I think this guy sucks and he's going to be a bust. It's not that at all. I just wanted to give these other 3 guys their flowers. I do like Carnell Tate, but I do disagree with a decent amount of your evaluation here because I don't think he's insanely explosive. Like, I really think he lacks in that area. I think this is a guy who doesn't, I don't like the play strength much. He doesn't really make defenders miss. He's not overly powerful as a runner. But I think he makes those contested catches like no one else in this class. Really, like he's amazing with the contested catches. I think the T.
I didn't
Higgins.
say it was bad. I think T. Higgins is like one of the best. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't go as far as to say T. Higgins.
Here's where I'm going to give him flowers where you don't. I would say in terms of the contested catches, I mean, who's better, Surratt in this class?
I would take Elijah Surratt 100%.
Okay, so Surratt.
But that's also, to be fair, that's also because he had Mendoza, who was pinpoint accurate.
Yeah, but I think it's okay. Maybe you have Surratt over him, and I think that's fair. Like Surratt makes some great 50-50 catches, and I like David Boston as a 50-50 ball guy. I would much rather Carnell Tate though. I really
I
would.
don't. I'm more caught up on the fact that you don't think he's explosive. I mean, it's 17 yards.
I don't love it. I don't think. Now, define what you describe as an explosive receiver. Maybe
a guy that could take the top off. Is he a track athlete gonna burn you? No, but I think he has the ability to make big plays. I mean, he averaged 17 yards per catch.
Yeah, okay, so we have different definitions here.
And
when I see someone's okay.
He had 6 catches of 30+ yards, 6 touchdown catches of 30+ yards. To me, that's explosive. That led the nation.
So this is the thing. When I say explosive, not the ability.
You mean
to get
explosive athlete?
Yes, explosive athlete.
He's not an explosive athlete. He's an explosive playmaker. Is I guess the distinction.
Yep, and I completely agree.
Okay,
but I would say in terms of you get to the top of your route, now explode and make it an in-breaker, or explode and make it a post. That doesn't happen there. He lacks some of that. He lacks some of that explosive juice that I want to see in an athlete at the receiver position. Now, again, You throw this guy a 50-50 ball, doesn't really matter how much separation he got. This guy might come down with it. Like, he really is that type of 50-50 ball receiver, and I love him for it. I mean, his ability to track the ball in the air, he makes some high-point catches very consistently. The hands are very reliable. The body control.
Yes, but for a guy who's going to be and I feel like we're on the opposite ends of this argument. I like him more than you do, but I mean, he's
You
6'2".
like him more than you do, but you're talking him down, and I'm talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more explosive than you do, but I think he's less good in the 50-50 ball. I mean, he's got okay size. He's 6'2", a buck 90. Like, that's fine.
Well, and I think he lacks the strength, and it shows up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. T. Higgins is not the comp because T. Higgins will pluck the ball out of the air. T. Higgins is like 6'4".
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, and now I want to move over to his route running because I think that's like, on one hand, like in some areas, big strength. But some coaches are going to look at it and say, no way, I don't like his route running. Because he's a victim of kind of the route tree issue. Certain routes, comebacks, right? Love them. Curls, love them.
Yeah.
So snag routes, love them. Stuff where like he's breaking towards the quarterback, love them. But in terms of like dig routes, slants, a lot of the stuff where he has to break inside, I think he's not sharp enough as a cutter, to really run some of that stuff.
And that's, to me, that's an interesting point because if a lot of times when we question a guy's route running in college, we'll say, oh, well, the coaching. He's got the best receiver coach in the nation of probably our lifetime in college receiver coaches.
I think we're just looking at a guy who sells vertical very well, and the routes that kind of work off of that, he does very well. I think he runs the Keenan Allen route tree at a very high level. But when you ask him to kind of be a more different receiver, there's someone who's running these in breakers and stuff like that, he isn't great. So I think he's very particular. I think there's a niche that he fills. There's some teams that would love to have a Carnell Tate, though. And that's, again, where I say, like, if he's your number one, I have no disagreement. I just think Omar Cooper has more versatility to his game. Jordan Tyson definitely has more versatility. Yeah. And I think there are more teams that are using a guy like Makai Lemon than a guy like Carnell Tate currently.
Okay. We can agree on that. So let's round out your top 5 here, Patrick. Who do you have as your 5th best receiver in this draft class?
Chris Brazzell. We were talking about highest ceiling, right? And even though I love Jordan Tyson, I think in theory, if he is able to get over the injury woes and some of that stuff, he can be that Jamar Chase tier of receiver. But he still wouldn't be my top in terms of the ceiling. Because Chris Brazzell, oh my God, this guy can be a dog. And a younger Patrick Seifer with less experience scouting would have been fooled again. The same way I was fooled by A.D. Mitchell. The same way. Because A.D. Mitchell, people that have listened to the podcast and been following my scouting content for a while would know at receiver every year, I kind of tend to have a guy. And that guy, I normally heavily disagree with the consensus. Now, a lot of times I was wrong, but one time the guy was Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm going to only talk about the good and not say any of the names of the bad. I hope you don't know any of the names of the bad. And if you do, don't you dare say them, Mike. Don't you say one. Xavier Hutchinson. Don't say one. A.D. Mitchell. Don't do it.
I'm still on the A.D. Mitchell train, so I can't cast.
I'm not off of it. I'll say that. I'm not off the A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah. You're looking out the window, but you're not. Yeah.
But I had him as the wide receiver too in that class. Like over Neighbors, over Adunze. Like it was bad. It was bad. So
he's played with Daniel Jones and now in the Jets. Like you're right. You're never wrong. You're just early. We'll say.
Yep. Geno Smith will unlock him. Trust. But in all seriousness,
you keep throwing strays at me. What the hell's going on tonight, man? You just keep throwing haymakers at me for no reason.
In all seriousness, though, he's 6'4", and maybe the best route runner in the class when he wants to be.
Don't forget he ran 4.3 in the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, and he ran a 4.3. So it's like, in terms of the profile, Holy, like,
Yeah.
what is there not to like
Yep.
in terms of the profile? And then you watch him play. Dudes are falling on the floor damn near every time they're being asked to play man coverage on the guy. 50-50 balls. He wins them consistently.
Yeah.
And he runs the full route tree. He's not like the other Tennessee receivers. He isn't like Jalen Hyatt. He isn't like Cedric Tillman. Like
I was thinking Jalen Hyatt's probably the one that people are going to associate him with the most.
He ran a full route tree. He ran it all, and he was a damn good at it. Jalen Hyatt just ran 9 routes.
He ran nines and slants. That was what that was his route.
Yeah, that was all he could do. But again, a younger Patrick Seifert would see all that and say, oh my God, he's the wide receiver 1 in this class. But I'm a changed man. I am. He has a thin frame. Mm-hmm. He is a body catcher.
He's a little lanky, yeah, for sure.
He's a body catcher. Mediocre release package. He's not overly elusive after the catch. And the most important thing here, and this is way more of a red flag than I once believed it to be, he takes plays off. Indisputably takes plays off. If he knows he's not like the main route, if he knows that he's really only running this go route so someone could get open underneath
clear
him.
Safety for under.
Yeah, exactly.
Cross. Yeah.
If he's doing that and he knows it, he's running that go route at half speed.
Yeah.
And I can't help but realize this is literally just A.D. Mitchell all over again. And probably, everything about the evaluation is A.D. Mitchell too. It's the same exact, like my scouting report on this guy is the same exact thing as it was for A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to fall for it again. I'm not going to let it happen. Brazel can be the best receiver in the league, but he could also suck and no one's going to know his name. So I'm going to firmly put him at 5 and just be done with it.
Interesting. I like that. I was looking at, while you were talking, I was looking at the NFL.com scouting profile to find what they said was his comparison. Because I really like looking at their comparisons. Their comparison for him is Christian Watson, which is interesting.
That's
interesting.
That's wrong, is what that is. Christian Watson, another guy, ran 9 routes and nothing else at NDSU.
But he played in FCS, though. Like,
he played in
part of that is not his fault.
Show off something. Like, I think when you do a pro comp or something like that, you should look at what the evaluation of the player is like more than you should look at what's the skill set.
I'm with you though. A.D. Mitchell. This is so A.D. Mitchell coded.
He's just A.D. Mitchell for better and for worse. Yeah. He is A.D. Mitchell again. I'm not falling for the propaganda. I'm not letting it happen.
All right.
In terms of my next 2, right? I really like Casey Concepcion as like a guy that could come in, be a speedy playmaker for you, be able to, stretch the field vertically, but also be a gadget guy if you need him to be. I like him. I think he's a guy that'll go to a team and have a good role for a team as like a speedy playmaker. The big question with him right now for me is he gained like nearly 20 pounds since the last time we've seen him play a snap. Will he still have that speed? I don't know.
That was the show off for the combine. That wasn't an eating binge or not. That's that NIL check going to those like seafood boils. Like no, he ordered want to put on some weight for the combine. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
he's gonna be like 15 pounds lighter come training camp. 100%.
And then and maybe he'll lose that weight again. He very much could, but then you still have a struggle with the strength because he wasn't a very strong player, and I do think that affected his game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he is not totally just a gadget guy, but I can't really see him being a wide receiver 1.
No, but I could see him. You put him on the field, and all of a sudden, defenses are saying, "Make sure you have a safety over top. Make sure you bracket him," because even though he could be a gadget guy and be a very good one, he could also be the guy that runs a 9 route and burns you for 80 yards.
Is this Rashid Shaheed, smaller Rashid Shaheed?
No, I think he has a little bit better of a route tree here. Like he's a pretty solid route runner.
Because that's the thought process with Rashid Shaheed, where it's like this guy's not your wide receiver 1, but he does kind of scare the shit out of you because he could burn anybody on the field at any given moment.
He's Rashid Shaheed if Shaheed had more of a route running ability.
That's probably true. He's probably a little quicker than Shaheed too.
But he could play the Shaheed role if
in a 30-40 yard sprint. There's maybe like 3 guys in the NFL that are going to beat Shaheed. Mm-hmm. But Yeah.
And then
Consider.
my last guy that I want to mention, my number 7, Surratt. We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Very high floor player here.
Yeah.
And I think, it goes back to what I talked about when the Colts paid Alec Pierce all that money. This is the type of guy that makes you say, why'd you pay Alec Pierce? Because it feels like every draft class, there's some guys like this that just, they're not very speedy, and they don't have the most elaborate skill set. But you ask him to go deep and catch a 50-50 ball over someone's head, he's doing it. Like he's just an animal when the ball's in the air. Now, the speed isn't anything great. He's not elusive after the catch. The release package, again, just isn't too strong.
Limited athlete, in my opinion.
Limited athlete, but who cares? He'll out-rebound you every day of the week. And that's what you can bring him in to do. He reminds me of almost like, again, I think Alec Pierce is really accurate here. I don't see
I don't think he's got the speed of Alec Pierce, though.
How much Alec Pierce film do you watch and say, oh yeah, that speed is a crucial part of his game? I don't think it's much.
Yeah, but
I agree. Pierce is faster.
Yeah,
but I also don't care because he's not fast. He's just faster.
Okay, touche.
Like that's kind of how I look at this. Like, I also think Surratt, like, he could settle versus zone. And
very smart player. And I think what really helped him is to have a quarterback like Fernando Mendoza, who was able to put the ball in a perfect situation where it's either an incomplete pass. I mean, we saw in the playoffs, especially those back shoulders were crispy.
Oh yeah,
just like football porn, right? It was great, and he's the type of guy who is going to be able to find the ball in the air to keep his body to have good body control, and he's on the sideline. Again, I do worry about being a limited athlete, but if he gets with a hyper accurate quarterback, I think this is a really, really good receiver that you're probably going to get in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and
the 4th.
He's never going to be your 1. He's never going to be your 1.
No.
Might not even be your 2.
I would be surprised if he was bad, though. I'd be surprised.
And that's exactly the thing. If he's bad, it's the coach's fault and the offensive coordinator's fault, because clearly you're asking him to do something that he doesn't do.
Real.
Because
if I see one end around with Elijah Surratt, we're firing the entire staff.
Yeah, exactly. He does something. Let him stick to it.
Yeah.
Like he does. You get Deebo Samuel. You give him the ball on an end around, right? Yeah. You give him jet sweeps. You don't ask Deebo Samuel to run a 9 route and beat someone on a 50-50 ball. You don't ask Deebo Samuel to run a double move.
No.
I mean, that's what this is. Surratt he's a niche, but damn is he good at that niche.
Yeah.
He could be a team's 2 if they want that type of 2. If you don't want that type of 2, you don't want that type of player, don't get anywhere near him, because it's such a clear evaluation of what this guy is. He's going to just out-rebound you. But yeah, that's where I stand on this receiver class. Those will be my top 7.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting top 7. I don't think it's nearly as controversial as your edge rusher rankings, my friend.
I just had one. The edge rusher rank, it was one guy.
But it's like guy who's going to go 3rd overall. You had him as like not even top 7 almost. You're talking about Keldrick Falk.
But when I'm right, no one here. Like, when I'm wrong, people are always the first people to jump on me and all that. But when I'm right, no one cares. I mean, when I talk about Anthony Richardson and say he's not going to do a lot of anything, or Trey Lance and say he's not going to do much.
To this episode. That's your 3rd.
Well, it's not directed at you. You just took it that way, right?
But I'm
God
the
forbid I
guy.
mention. Okay, fine. We'll go Trey Lance. If I say Trey Lance is going to suck,
I feel like that one. It was so weird. I've never seen like a consensus of people being like, "Yeah, I don't like Trey Lance at all." And Kyle Shanahan of all people took him 3rd overall and traded up to get him. Yeah. That was the weirdest draft pick I've ever seen in my life.
People don't talk about the miracle that didn't completely derail their franchise.
Dude, if they didn't take Brock Purdy,
like that should have killed the 49ers.
If they didn't take Brock Purdy with pick 200 and 60 to 58, whatever it was,
the last pick of the draft.
They literally would have crumbled to the ground because of Trey Lance. If you swap out Trey Lance for Brock Purdy, they're totally fine. And it's just only they would have that type of just dumb fucking luck to just do something like that. Like, that's unreal. That makes me so mad. But
yeah, but like the draft is interesting because
Yeah.
the consensus is never right. So
Yeah, you're
why
right.
is it that people are so quick to jump on people about being off the consensus when the consensus, again, is never right?
Yeah.
If you watch David Bailey and you like his film, that's good for you, right? That's awesome for you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a dunce.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just looking into the Matrix and you should be taking the right pill. I would say the color of the pill, but I don't remember.
I think it's the red one. I've never seen The Matrix. This might be
Really?
getting me can't.
I've
Yeah,
watched
I've
the
never seen it.
first one, which is why I probably should know
There's
what
more
pill
than
it
one.
is.
I actually
There's
didn't
a
even know there's
lot.
more than one.
I don't think I've watched the other ones, but I've watched the first one.
Mm,
Also,
okay.
why would you think a movie that's like as notable as that wouldn't have a sequel? You know enough about modern
Titanic doesn't have a sequel.
yet.
Oh, come
Just
on.
wait.
They're bringing back Leo for Titanic 2. It's going to be all filmed all underwater. I don't know, man. Some movies don't have. I think a lot of the Scorsese movies don't have sequels. Like Django is really good.
Django was
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Tarantino. Yes,
Wow.
excuse me.
You said one movie and you got it
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
Jesus.
man. This is how we know we got to end
You're
the
off.
episode. My brain is not working anymore.